This is Georgia Southern Football 90, featuring the defending NCAA National Champion, Georgia Southern Eagles. Now here's your host, Bill Edwards, and Georgia Southern University head football coach, Tim Stowers.
Evening again, everyone. It is one more time, one last time. No matter what, 1990 goes into history's grip this weekend, Tim, against a team that comes in here, and once again, on paper, there's just no way we can play with these guys except our kids are just don't back away from any fight. They never have, never will.
Bill, they have a super football team. They got great balance on offense. They got a fine defensive football team. They have the Deion Sanders of 1AA cornerbacks and Bernard Ellison back there. They got a great football team, and Georgia Southern have to play the best football game we played all year to have a chance to win. It's not just one more time, it's just one last time, especially for those 14 seniors we just saluted here at the booster luncheon. And this is the last time they'll be donning those blue jerseys and blue helmets on Glenn Bryant Field at Paulson Stadium. You know, and that's kind of sentimental in a way. And they've won they've had a chance to play for 3 national championships. And some of them have had a chance to win 3 national championships. Some of them have been here since '86. And I'd like to salute those 14 seniors for putting up with me and providing the team leadership that we needed so badly this year to get from 1-3 to 11-3 and have a chance to play for all the marbles.
You know, I guess you have to almost lose something in order to appreciate it. Everybody expected that last year's team to be great. When we were 1-3 this year, this game may have been played on Mars. I think a lot of people didn't expect us to be here.
Well, this football team may have had to start out at 1-3 to have a chance to get where we are. Now, that may sound strange, but if we would have, you know, continued on and maybe started out the season with 3-1 or 4-1, you know, it might have happened to us later on in the season, and we might not have got this far. It took us to have our backs against the wall and to come out fighting each and every week to have a chance to play for all the marbles.
Well, Tim, it's been a great team effort, and I'm talking about team, everything from the coaches to the fans to the players and everything else to get where we are, and we want you to do it just one more time.
Well, we're going to do everything possible that we can to do it just one more time. You know, we made it to the dance, but we can't quite hear the band yet.
Okay. Well, we'll show you at least the band tuning up with the first half highlights of the Nevada game after this. Anyone hoping that the fireworks would begin soon after the kickoff for the national championship were not going to be disappointed. Carl Miller took it at the 6 and headed for glory. For a moment, it looked like he'd finally get that run back that he and the rest of the Georgia Southern fans had wanted this season. But alas, to no avail. We had to settle for a 51-yard return up to Nevada's 43.
Oh, gosh, that was so close. I got on the sideline, well, after we had took the ball down and scored and we came onto the sideline. Darryl Hopkins said that, he said the pursuit, he said he knew that I couldn't feel it, but the pursuit was right on me. And he said when I put on the brakes to cut it back, they were just all, I think somebody dove in and wrapped my legs up a little bit.
Up came 3rd and 7. Raymond Gross rolled out, and the CBS camera crew, who swore they wouldn't be faked out, were faked out. Surprise, Raymond didn't pass, kept it himself, and got 10 yards. It's all right, guys. It happens to us all the time. And there was more where that came from as Raymond hit the left corner for 10 more yards down to the Wolfpack 20. 3 plays later, on 3rd and 4, the Eagles tied the bow on the 7-play, 43-yard Christmas package when Joe Ross took Raymond's pitch and from 14 yards out, roasted the Wolfpack. 7-0 GSU. They were out front to stay. The high-powered Nevada offense would now get a crack at scoring, but when Tremel Taylor took Don Norton's kick, he too felt a crack of sorts as number 47 Nick Davis hit Taylor like the old ton of bricks. And Mr. Taylor went no further than the 19-yard line. You know what kind of problems Wolves have with bricks. For a little while, at least, it appeared that we were in for an old-fashioned shootout as Nevada pulled out the Gatlin gun. Quarterback Fred Gatlin, that is, firing a screen pass to Ray Whalen for 9 yards before Paul Sickley could stop him. It was not too soon after that, however, the Wolfpack began to meet the ghost of Paulson Stadium. A superb pass play from Gatlin to wide receiver Ross Ortega was all nullified for holding. But when the Wolfpack went to punt, a lot of us were wondering just whose side that ghost was on. Normally, the ever-reliable Rodney Oglesby couldn't hang on, and Smith recovered. Not Giff, Eric. He plays for Nevada. But the Southern Inhospitality Committee, led by number 28 Mike West, the guy too small to play middle linebacker, gave up yardage to the big bad Wolves as begrudgingly as Kings give up power. Eric Smith was dumped for a 2-yard loss. But on 3rd and 9, Gatlin saved the drive with a 14-yard strike to Ortega down to the 28. They would not get much further, and Kevin McElvey came in to cut Southern's lead to 4 with a 37-yard field goal, making it 7-3, which is how the first quarter ended. But as it was coming to a close, the Eagle Express got cranked up again. A pitch to Darrell Hopkins on the right corner. And with Carl Miller throwing a key block outside, Hop went scooting 27 yards toward the goal line to the UN 31. And on 2nd and 6 from the 17, Raymond kept it for 10 yards, 1st and goal at the 7. The second stanza began with Carl Miller trying to score with a pitch on the left corner, but got hemmed in a yard shy. Now, one would think 2 shots at it from there, using our bread and butter play to Joe Ross up and over the middle, would get something. It produced nothing, and the Wolfpack had held with a great goal line stand. And oh, the thoughts going through Eagle fans' minds then, like, what if we lose by 2 points? Would we see this play in our nightmares forever?
I don't think so, because at that point we knew, when I come in the game for the goal line situation, we only run one play. Everybody knows that play, so you think with week 15 somebody can stop it, right? So they stopped it. A lot of people, team felt like we should have ran another play, but we were moving the ball on them, and we felt like we'd get another chance because the defense was doing such a great job.
Amen to that. Watch Giff Smith on 3rd and 5. Despite a Nevada lineman asking Giff for a waltz, he and Steve Busaletti dumped Gatlin for a 10-yard loss. Meanwhile, it began to look like the Eagles were allergic to the 40-yard line. There was a missed exchange between Raymond Gross and Joe Ross here, and Nevada got that one back. But if you've ever wondered what we meant by a lookout block, watch on 3rd and 8. Top of your screen, Nevada's number 84, Scott Benning, will watch as Darius Dawson goes by, leaving him an open path to gun down Mr. Gatlin for an 8-yard loss. The Eagles moved to just inside the Wolfpack 40 once more and got this. Lester Eford and the football going their separate ways. Nevada recovered this one at their 31. By now you know the scenario. It's 3rd and 8 this time, and it was Tim Brown's turn to disarm Gatlin. The defense had done it again.
We kind of made some big mistakes, fumbles and missed assignments and stuff like that. And usually those type of mistakes will kill you, but we maintained our poise and came back and played a great football game. And the defense took a lot of weight off our shoulders. They played a hell of a football game.
Well, basically, when we shut down the running game early, once we shut down the running game, we knew we had them where we wanted. They had to play in Tyler's hand then. That was it. Just coming in and shut down the running game.
Our defense played awesome. At the beginning of the year, we were having trouble when the offense would turn the ball over, stopping people. But today we came around and we stopped them, shut them down cold.
What was it that you found you could exploit against them? It looks like you shut down their running game, which was just outstanding.
Yeah, defensive line played awesome, and they shut them down. Mostly, we worked through on a game plan, and we went out there and practiced hard for 3 days and said, hey, I had a good feeling going in the game. I wasn't overconfident, but I was confident. You know how you got that feeling that you got the edge and you're going to win? That's how I felt.
And there must have been something to it. From there on, no more Mr. Nice Eagle. On 2nd and 10 from the 43, Raymond finally unloaded the bomb to Terrence Sorrell, who made his run-of-the-mill sensational catch at the Nevada 8. There'd be no goal line stand for the Wolfpack to write home about this time, as Raymond Gross, playing his final game in a Georgia Southern uniform, rolled right. And with superb blocks from number 69 Miguel Ayub and 24 Carl Miller, Raymond was home free, and it was 14-3 GSU. Like last week, the opposition drove down and scored just before halftime. But Nevada had to settle for a 44-yard field goal from Kevin McElvey to cut the Georgia Southern lead to 8. Thanks to a great play by Rodney Oglesby that saved what looked like a sure touchdown on this play. And just like last week, that would be as close as the opposition would get. It's a festival this championship week after this timeout. The events leading up to a national championship game are half the fun. On Friday, it's the big awards banquet, held this year at the Savannah Sheraton Inn and Resort. Good fellowship, good food, and the players get a chance to introduce themselves one by one to each other, the NCAA, and the media. But as you can see, it's rather formal. Nothing like the bash we put on for the last 2 years on Thursday night, the Low Country Boil at Old Fort Jackson. To the neophyte oyster shucker, an absolute mystery, because while Curtis Gordon may be able to crack running backs with the greatest of ease, trying to crack open an oyster shell to get to the prize inside seemed to be one of the great mysteries of the universe. Of course, the Nevada players, some of whom even tried to eat the boiled shrimp without peeling them first, oyster shucking proved to be as difficult as beating Georgia Southern some 40 hours hence. But it was a great feed. A real blast for everyone involved. The opposition showed up this year, unlike their Stephen F. Austin counterparts in 1989, and hats off to those who sponsored it and cooked it. Second half highlights after this. They say turnabout's fair play, so watch Georgia Southern's goal line stand. As the second half began, Gatlin's gun was firing away. On 1st and 10 from the 44, a 14-yard pass to Ross Ortega took the pack to the Southern 42. Then on 3rd and 10, Gatlin went deep and right on target to wide receiver Joe King with a great catch, 41 yards down to the Eagle 1. You can see just how close it is after an offsides against Southern. Gatlin gave to Ray Whalen on 1st and 2nd down, but to no avail. This is the 2nd down play. Watch Whalen. Looks like he's open until Darius Dawson comes in and closes the gap less than a foot away. It's now 3rd down. Whalen gets the call once more, this time losing a yard. The defense was absolutely awesome. Now it was 4th down. Remember that ghost? Kevin McKelvey's 24-yard chip shot didn't hook back in and missed to the right. Do you believe in ghosts?
I'm proud of the kids. I'm floating. We worked our rear ends off, and that's what hard work does for you. And I just love, hey, I thank the Lord every day that Tim Stowers called me last year on December 20th.
Oh, I think we were here to prove something defensively, especially. We saw in the films that they were a type of team that we could stop. We had a good game plan, and we have a lot of guys with a lot of character and a lot of heart. And we put the pressure on them. We took the fight to them, and they responded well, but not well enough to put the ball in the end zone.
They had a great goal line stand against us, and then we returned the favor in the second half.
Well, we felt like when they get down to the goal line, they like to try to block him man on man and let Whalen pick his gap. And we feel like, especially on the defensive front, there's not an offensive line that can block us man to man and whip us. And I think that was proven today when they got down there. They tried to run them wide, and we had 3 or 4 people on them. That kind of played into our hands, and I think after that they kind of stopped believing in themselves. They wanted to win but didn't believe they could after we stopped them there.
Defense played a great football game. I mean, they did. They didn't let them in. They were knocking on the door down there. Then they had to make them kick a field goal, and then they missed the field goal. I mean, that's really dodging some bullets.
Moments later, the Eagles dodged yet another bullet when the turnover bug finally bit Nevada on their next possession. Jack Harris and Mike West sandwiched Ray Whalen high and knocked the ball loose. Sean Harrelson recovered for the Eagles at the 30, and as Coach Mack said afterward, that was major. And for senior Mike West, too small to play, you know, it was something special.
I'm as proud of those kids as I can be, especially Mike West. At the end of spring, he says, people say, Coach, I'm too small to play in the middle. I said, no, you're not. You're big enough. Hey, after we were 1-3, they come in and say, West is too small. He can't get it done. Agony. I said, he's the best we got. And he made the biggest hit of the game right out there and coughed it up. And you got to love kids like that. I love them.
Shutting them down like that, that's a tribute to Coach Spangler, to Coach Mack, to Coach Saunders, to Coach Beasley, and Coach Durham. I mean, they put together a great game plan, and we just went out there and had to execute it. We did what we wanted to do. We wanted to stop Whalen. We wanted to, hem his running attack up and then make him throw the ball, and that's exactly what we did.
It was now time for the offense to shine, and on 3rd and 5 from midfield, it was Miller time as Raymond dropped back and zipped it to Carl Miller, who made his typical great move to the outside, 20 yards down to the enemy 31. And on the ensuing play, vintage Raymond kissing Paulson Stadium in Glen Bryant Field goodbye with a great pitch to Darrell Hopkins. And Hop made a great move or two of his own, 28 yards to the Pack's 3. And our version of the Zonies, much better behaved, certainly approved. On 1st and goal, what a classy move by Raymond. Touchdown all the way on the rollout, but instead pitches to Hop, figuring it was his anyway. It was indeed. 20-6, Georgia Southern.
Well, I give all the credit to Raymond because he could have went in himself. You know, the blocking was out there for him. He could have just went in, but he pitched it out to him, and I like to thank him for it.
Hats off to the defense. We put them in some bad positions a few times today, and I don't think that they really ever stopped us. We always were stopping ourselves, and when we did make the mistakes, the defense came through for us, and I think that has been the key all year.
By now, the defense was on fire, and when Keith Washington got the football, he almost did the end zone shuffle with Alex Mash and just managed to elude a safety. Number 99, this young true freshman was playing like a veteran and still in awe of it all.
We never practiced as hard in our lives. We practiced so hard, meeting 3 or 4 times a day. Never did it like that before. I'm proud. I'm glad we did it.
And especially the way you came back this year, this has to be especially sweet.
God, I didn't know what to expect. When I came in as a freshman, I know if I was going to even be playing this year, let alone win the national championship. I knew I was going to be a part of it. I knew I was going to get a ring. I knew they was going to do it. I thought I was going to be watching.
And then on the next possession, just when it looked like the Eagles might have to give it up on 3rd and 8, linebacker Mark Drehos grabbed Raymond's face mask, and it was ruled intentional. The Eagles had new life at the 22. And on the first play of the final stanza, Raymond's swan song, As Pretty As You Please, another late pitch out to Hop from 18 yards away. Hop dove in the end zone, 27-6 Eagles. The Wolfpack's only touchdown of the day came late. Now with Chris Vargas at the helm, the man who'd led them to back-to-back overtime wins, gambled on 4th and 10, and watch Ross Ortega make a superb catch after it was deflected by Rodney Oglesby. 15 yards and a first down. Then Vargas linked up with Tramiel Taylor for 13 more. 1st and goal at the Eagle 5. And on 2nd down, with 6.5 minutes to play, a team that had scored over 100 points in their last 2 games got their lone TD of the afternoon as Vargas connected with Ross Ortega, 27-13 Georgia Southern. Now the name of the game was run the clock and put it out of reach. The Eagles did just that as Raymond got loose outside and racked up 19 more of his 158 yards rushing up to the 48. And as Mike Dowis made it a 17-point game, 30-13 with this 41-yard kick, his final field goal as an Eagle, it was as it should have been, perfect. And the lone senior on the offensive line, John Wilson, was a happy camper.
I'm glad all the offensive line did grow up, and I believe that the offensive line was definitely a strong point on this team later in the season.
What a way to go out, huh?
Yeah, I tell you, if we'd have been a loss, I'd have had to live with that for the rest of my life. I'm glad we won. It's probably the happiest day of my life.
Not so for the Wolfpack, as their final offensive play turned into Georgia Southern's final score when Alex Mash skyjacked Chris Vargas and had clear sailing to pay dirt. The Wolves had huffed and puffed, but couldn't blow our house down. 37-13 Eagles, an unprecedented fourth national championship. Kicking coach and Super Scout Pat Spurgeon and Darrell Hopkins said it all.
This is the best one of all, Bill. Not that I enjoy all the others and didn't appreciate all the other teams, but no team has ever come from as far back as we came to win. As you know, our slogan from about the middle of the season, I came up with it if you remember, was back from the dead. Now our slogan is all the way back from the dead.
Yeah, it feels great, so we just look out and let's tell the world, we the best, because we wasn't a contender for the national championship. I guess we are now.
You got another championship ring coming. What are you going to do with that?
I'm going to end up giving that to my dad, and hopefully he'll enjoy that, because I hardly wear mine right now. But I guess I'm going to have to start wearing that dang thing.
Oh, number one, Georgia Southern steal.
And appropriately enough, Tracy Ham was there too. And Coach Stowers will have final comments in a moment.